What up, tribe? I'm back. This is go ahead and click that subscribe and like. I hope you like this video. This is going to be Queen Sugar, season 3, episode 2. So first off, I want to thank everybody for hanging in there with me yesterday with my review last night. I ain't even gonna tell y'all what I did, but basically, long story short, I cut off my internet and I didn't know that I had cut it off, so I didn't know how to cut it back on, and I figured it out. Like I was fooling with it until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then it just hit me like this morning when I was at work. I was like, "Dummy, you did." Da, 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 da. Anyway, so we straight. So we here. Let's go ahead and jump into this review though. Once again, I want to thank all my new subscribers. Let's go. So the episode opens up with Nova. Remember, she interviewed the kids on the episode from last night. The kids that took the knee during the national anthem. She interviewed them, and it was supposed to be a big story on the front page. So she gets the paper first thing in the morning. She looking for her story. Can't find it. The story has been pushed to the back of the paper, and not only has it been pushed to the back of the paper, but the headline reads to the effect of the children being troublemakers. So of course y'all know that is not what Nova wrote. So she's pissed and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I was like, "They gonna push her into that book. They gonna push her into that book." So then we see Vi is talking to the store manager at the grocery store, and he's like, "Look, I can't keep your pies in the store. They selling like Patty's pies, right?" And he said, "Look, if you can double your order by the end of the week, I will increase your percentage to 25%. So Vi was like, "You got a deal. We about to make this happen." Then we jump over to, we see that, I'm sorry, y'all. We see that Remy is at the High Yellow having breakfast. And then here comes Charlie and Ralph Angel. And Charlie's making this big speech. They're welcoming her. She's treating the black farmers to breakfast so she can make the announcement that, you know, look forward to y'all harvest with Queen Sugar. We know that things were a little bumpy last year, but thank you for having your trust in me, and your discounted rate is going to be fixed for the next 5 years. And you know, this is a family, and we're all in this together, and Queen Sugar belongs to you. And like, here's the thing. I get what she's doing. I even get why she's doing it. However, you landed on a little thick. Like, if I were a black farmer, I probably would be cool once I found out what happened and why you did it. But giving me this whole speech about, oh, Queen Sugar this and this family and this, we all in this together, and we all, don't do that. And that's what Remy was telling her. Remy came up to her after she gave her little speech and was like, "Don't you think you're doing a bit much?" And, you know, she was like, "Well, I mean, what's the big deal? It doesn't matter. I mean, what's important is that the black farmers are winning. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of deal I got going on. They're winning." Because Remy knows that she made this little backdoor deal, which is part of the reason why he's not really rocking with her, because he don't like the way the whole thing went down. But she really truly feels like that's the, like, she, you know, was like, "They're going to keep coming after me and keep coming after me until I'm bankrupt. And now that I've made this deal," and remember last night she got 1% of the company when she signed that contract. And what she was telling Ralph Angel is, "I'm in the door. I own 1% of this company, which gives me access to the board members, which gives me access to the financial records, and I'm going to tear them down from the inside out. Like, I'm going to get it." And, you know, she going to end up owning this damn company. You know, my only issue is that I don't want her to get too cocky. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want her to feel like she got this in the bag and she got them over a barrel, and then they end up double crossing her or something, because they not stupid. And he doesn't totally trust her, and she don't totally trust them. So it'll be interesting. Nova goes and meets with her editor, and she's like, "Yo, what the hell? Like, what happened to my story?" And he was like, "You know, things are just a little bit dicey right now. We've been losing some advertisers because they're not really comfortable with your stories and with your content." And y'all know Nova. Nova's like, "So? Like, since when do legitimate newspapers worry about the revenue?" And he's the editor. He has to worry about the business side. And he was like, "Look, that's just how business is. And I don't feel this way. I believe in you, but for right now, you just gotta kind of lay low for the time being until people stop being nervous, and then we can, you can do your thing again. So again, this is further pushing Nova, out the doors, further pushing her. So Micah's talking to his dad. Micah want to go to public school, which he wanted to go to public school before. Like when he first moved to New Orleans, remember he had to go to the public school for like 2 weeks, and at first he was like nervous, but then he sort of was cool. That's when he met his girlfriend and everything. And then Charlie was able to get him into the private school. But Micah is, he's got his photography thing going, and at the basketball game, he just was observing everything was going on, and he said, that's where I want to be. Like, I really feel like that's where I can be successful, and Micah is really coming into learning about himself since he's moved to New Orleans. When he lived in California, he was the rich black kid, the son of the basketball star, and had the white girlfriend and all that. But since he's moved to Louisiana, outside of the situation with the cop, he's really, he had the whole Black Lives Matter thing where he was hanging out with Nova and all of that. So he's really coming into himself. And his dad was like, look, I ain't in that. That's between you and your mama. But let me tell you something. You can't come at your mother with emotion. You got to come at your mama with facts and figures, and you have to give her a convincing argument. So you might want to, brush up on your facts and figures before you go at her with something. Because Michael talking about some however many percentage of Ivy League students came from public school. That's relative. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a valid argument. But anyway, so Blue's still acting out. We see different examples as the episode goes on of Blue acting a fool. He didn't act a fool at the store when they were shopping. He throwing stuff at Ralph Angel in the house. Ralph Angel was like, do I look like I'm playing with you? Like, he got in his face and hit him with the, boy, if you don't go sit down somewhere. But Blue, he's acting out, and they really need to, I'm a big proponent of counseling. They need to get that baby some counseling. First of all, he need to have some counseling just off of GP on his traumatic childhood. He may not consciously remember it, but he had a very traumatic childhood. And then his non-traditional family situation is another concern. But I don't want to dig deep into that, but they need to get that baby some help. And don't forget, I ain't forgot that Darla hit him with the, I'm working on a plan. What you working on, Darla? What the fuck you working on? Anyway. So, Ralph Angel's parole officer picks that moment when Blue is acting a fool to show up. And Ralph Angel, of course, is thinking, oh, here he go. What you want, why you here? And his parole officer was like, look, this is my job. This is what I do. He said, but I'm here for a good reason. He said, I'm going to petition the parole board to let you finish up early. Like, you've done some great things. Like, the progression that I've seen in you the last couple of years. Like, I really think you're good. And I'm going to petition the parole board to basically let you get off parole. He said, in the state, that a lot of people have been getting early sentences and stuff like that. And so I think you'd be a good candidate for it, and I would vouch for you. And so, Ralph Angel is like, wow, like, for real. Then further, he talks to Ralph Angel about, you said you're hiring some folks. I got some guys that are just like you, that remind me of you. They have, they just out there, went to jail for nonviolent offenses, but they're out and they're looking for a break. Like, they need a job, and they have, families and stuff, and they really remind me of you. Now, part of me was thinking, is he trying to do was it quid pro quo? Quo? Y'all know what I'm trying to say, shit. Like, he didn't say it that way, but because you put it all in the same conversation, like, if I was Ralph Angel, in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking, okay, is this a question or a command? Like, are you asking me to help with these guys, or are you basically saying, I'm going to hook you up with the parole board if you hook me up with some jobs for my boys? His parole officer has always hit me as a up and up kind of person. Like, I don't think he got no shit with him, but you just never know. And even if he was doing it, I think he'd be doing it. Even if he was hitting Ralph Angel with that, I feel like he'd be doing it for the right reasons. So I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt for right now. for right now. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see where that goes. So, next up, we see Vi is having, okay, no, sorry. Hollywood is outside. Hollywood is always fixing that. Have y'all noticed he always on that tree swing? It seems like he always fixing that tree swing. What's wrong with it, Hollywood? Like every time he has to be outside, he at that damn tree swing. But anyway, his check shows up because last season, I guess they got this. He was told what his settlement was going to be, but the actual check showed up or an installment or whatever. And Hollywood was like, "Oh, I'm about to go to the bank and we going shopping." And Vi was like, "Look, first of all, we said we wasn't gonna let this money change us. Second of all, I gotta get this power order out. So I'm gonna take care of you tonight. We'll celebrate tonight, just me and you. But you know, I really can't do nothing until these pies are done." And Hollywood was cool with it. He went off and he went to the bank. But then we see where Vi is having problems with her stove, her oven. And then she relocates to the High Yellow. The manager comes in and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing in my kitchen?" And, Vi's like, "Look, I gotta get these pie orders out and, I just need your help." And the manager was right. First of all, Vi, you just gonna show up because you got keys because you were the manager or you are the manager. I'm not sure what her status is at this point. But you just show up. You can't just show up and start using the ovens. Like, I understand that the High Yellow is not like a major corporation or whatever, but there's still rules and regulations. And if he get caught letting you run your business out of his business, y'all gonna get in some trouble. He's gonna get in some trouble. Then she had her assistant with her who's not even working there, not even on payroll. He was like, "This is an insurance liability for me. Like, I could get in a lot of trouble. Like, nah, y'all gotta go." And she was like, "Wait a minute. Like, do you really mean that? Because if I leave this time," because remember she quit before and then came back and ended up being a manager and doing a great job. But she was like, "If I leave this time, I'm not coming back. So are you really sure you want to do this?" And he told her, "You gotta go." But from a business point of view, he was right. Like, I understand, Vi, that you felt like your back was against the wall. You need to get those pies out, and you found you had an industrial kitchen, but you really could. That, like, he wasn't wrong. Anyway, he wasn't wrong. So she ends up having to sort of go to the church that she left the church, I guess, when they were having some. I forget that story. That was like in the first or second season. But there was an issue between her and the church women, and she kind of stopped rocking with them. I don't know if it was because of her relationship with Hollywood or what have you, but she basically went to go beg them to use the kitchen at the church. And of course, they giving her a hard time. And Hollywood, it is burning Hollywood up to see her begging, right? You see it on his face. He's just not happy. To the point where Vi ended up basically telling them that she would donate 10% of her profit to the church for letting them allow her to use the church. So then it wasn't until then that the woman gave her the keys and said, "Okay, fine, you can use the kitchen." Hollywood gonna buy her a kitchen. That's what he gonna do with that fucking money. Hollywood's gonna buy her something. He ain't gonna just buy her a stove because Hollywood don't do stuff on a small scale. He's gonna buy her an industrial kitchen. I don't know if it's gonna be a facility, something done closed, a restaurant or something, but he's gonna take care of that. I promise you, that's gonna be the last time Vi gotta run around town begging people to use a stove. That ain't gonna happen again. I promise you that. So then we see Hollywood is out shopping, and Blue and Ralph Angel are with him. And Blue, Hollywood's gonna buy Blue some shoes, some cute shoes he wanted, little light up shoes or whatever. Blue starts running around the store picking up every pair of shoes he sees because he was like, "I want these and I want these and I want these." And Ralph Angel's like, "Boy, put them shoes down. Like, you getting a pair of shoes, be happy with what you getting." And of course, Blue is acting out. He's like, "No, no," and he's pulling away from Ralph Angel. And Ralph Angel's trying not to make a scene, but next thing you know, you look up and here comes security. So Hollywood peeped it, and Hollywood was like, "Yo, like, chill out, we'll go." And he tells the officer, "We good, we good." And they end up leaving. I know Blue doesn't understand how serious that situation could have become, as far as him acting out and Ralph Angel getting angry and all that kind of stuff. But Ralph Angel ends up putting his butt in timeout when they get home. Now I don't know about the timeout. I ain't a timeout kind of person. Okay, but we see, I'm jumping up a little bit, I'm jumping around a little bit, but we see Nova talking to her sister circle and basically bouncing the idea off of them, like, should I keep my job, should I stay, should I write the book, what should I do? And she got every variation of opinion that you would expect somebody to get in a group, to get from a group. Some were saying go for it, some were saying be careful because a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. What if the book doesn't sell and you quit your job, what you gonna do? And they were like, well, there's any way you could do both so that you cover all your bases. And so she really was no better off at the end of the conversation than when she started, because it's all over the place. The other thing that happens is that video that we talked about last night of the cop abusing the black teen, the same one that abused Micah. It ends up being sent to the news, and it's all over the news, and it's being posted. And of course, there's outrage out there, and people want him fired and all that stuff that happens when those types of videos go viral. Micah sees it, and he has a reaction. He doesn't act out, but there's a reaction there. And Dave is actually, and I'm jumping around, y'all, but Davis actually confronts Charlie about it, and he was like, did you have something to do with that video being leaked? And Charlie was like, yeah. She was like, I'm tired of people like him getting away with it. Like, that man terrorized my son, and I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to let him get away with it. And Davis's thing was, I hear where you coming from, and I understand it, but don't end up hurting Micah in the process. Like, maybe that's not something he wants to see played on the news over and over and over again for the next however many months. He was like, I get where you coming from, but just make sure that you're not hurting Micah in the process of you trying to get your revenge. And later on in the later on in the episode, we see where Charlie actually paid the reporter who dropped the story. She also has some more dirt for Charlie. She's actually investigating the board and investigating the Landons. Is it Landons? I called them the Boudreaux last night. I don't even know where I got that name from. But come to find out, they are heavily in debt. And had she probably held out for another season, she probably wouldn't have had to worry about them anymore, because it sounds like they ain't had no money. And she was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they buy Queen Sugar if they were broke? And, the lady was like, I don't have all the information yet. I don't know all of that yet. I'm just telling you what I have found so far. And so far, that's what she has found out. Well, she's also doing research on the board members. So Charlie's putting her plan into place. She's putting her plan into place. Then we see, look, a lot of stuff happened in this episode, y'all. So we see where Charlie and Ralph Angel go out for drinks and dance, and Ralph Angel's like, look, we just need to get out. We need to just go have a good time. I'm going to forget about Darla. You're going to forget about Remy. We just going to go have a good time. And he talks about Blue, and he talks about how he doesn't know if he can be a good father to Blue. Like, he's not sure if he can be a good dad to Blue anymore. And I thought that was sad, because he's actually questioning his skills and stuff just based on Blue acting out and everything with Darla, and then the results coming back that Blue's not biologically his son. But he goes off and he's having a good time. He's on the dance floor or whatever. And Charlie's getting ready to go, and her car doesn't start. It's just a battery, nothing big. But a guy ends up helping her. And they flirt or what have you. And he's like, look, can I have your number? And she was like, well, no, he said, can I give you my number? And she said, well, what if I don't call you? He said, then it wasn't meant to be. Well, all right. So there was that. Nova Ghost is going through her old folders of all of her old stories and stuff. Oh no, rewind. She ends up having a conversation with Vi. And Vi tells her, you're going to have to, like, she basically gives her them words of wisdom, like, boo, do it. You're going to have to take a leap on faith. Like if you, because she was talking about the pies and how she's really investing in herself and how this is her time and she's almost 60 years old and she's tired of working for everybody else and she's going to invest in herself and she's going to take a chance on herself at this point. And through that conversation, it sort of transitions over to Nova's situation with her trying to figure out what to do. And she tells her, she's like, look, you, like, what are you afraid of? You have to invest in yourself. And I say the same thing. Like, if I had somebody offering me that kind of an opportunity, it's not even about the money, but offering me that kind of opportunity, even if the book doesn't sell, you can always go back and find another job. Hell, start your own newspaper for what they were paying you for the books. You know what I'm saying? And they talking about sponsoring you on book tours and stuff like that. All that's revenue. All that's money. So even if the book doesn't do New York Times bestseller numbers, you now have expanded your platform. In my opinion, that's a win-win situation. I don't see where there's any losing to that. But y'all know how Nova is. Nova got to weigh everything, and she don't want to be a sellout to her people and all that good stuff. So then that's where we see Nova kind of going through her portfolio and really weighing everything out. And I was like, Nova gonna take that damn job. I mean, Nova's gonna take the book deal. That's when I knew. I mean, I kind of felt it. It was building up this whole episode, but that's where I definitely knew she was going to do it. Oh, y'all, I forgot something else. Charlie actually meets up with the guy that's been flirting with her, the landing guy. And they sort of talk or whatever. And he's sharing with her, basically, his father was like the black sheep of the family. His father was a blue-collar guy. He wasn't rich. He wasn't born into money. He wasn't born onto the rich side of the family. And he's really wooing Charlie. He really wants to get up with Charlie. And him I don't trust. He's the one I really don't trust because I really feel like I feel like he's trying to get close to Charlie. Again, I don't think he trusts her because Charlie don't trust him. But it's something about him that's just, something about him I'm not feeling, y'all. Something about him I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So, I'm not sure. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all drop it in them comments. Last but not least, Charlie actually goes into Micah's room and she sees all of the pictures he's been taking. And there's some great pictures. I love, what do they call them? Real life, the black and whites. The pictures like he had. I have picture books. I don't know if you guys remember Songs of My People. And I have a few other picture books and I have some even on my wall of black and white pictures. I love black and white stills. I love real life people in candid pictures. Even the pictures I take for myself, I like to take candid pictures. I don't like the pose pictures so much. I like catching my friends and family playing cards or talking or laughing or joking. Like, I love those kind of pictures. So anyway, but it was a whole wall of them. And Micah went on to explain to Charlie, instead of coming at her with his old, this amount of kids from private school, go to Ivy League. I mean, public school, go to Ivy League. He tells her, this is the first time that I've ever felt like I belonged. I didn't have to explain why I was there. He said, I've always been in a white school or a white environment, but it was like, oh, it's okay that he's here. His dad's an athlete. Or, oh, it's okay if he's here. His parents are rich. He said, this is the first time where I felt like it was okay that I was there just because I was me. And, he was just talking about how good he felt to be in an environment where he just felt accepted for who he was. And she got it. She got it and she acquiesced and she said, okay, we'll try it. We'll try you in public school, but the first sign of trouble, you back in your uniform, boo. Back in your uniform. So now we're almost at the end, y'all. So now we see Vi. The whole family is going to the grocery store so they can see this big display because the manager promised her that her pies would be this big prominent display as soon as you walked into the bakery area. And so the family is going to go see Vi's pies because she got them all ready. She got them done. She finished up. And of course, when they get to the bakery, they're not where they're supposed to be. They got some damn Twinkies and ding dongs on the stand where her pies was supposed to be. So the family, the family's like, oh, it's okay, Vi, it's okay. She was like, no, it's not. It's not what we promised. That's not what we agreed on, and that's not the deal. So she waves down an employee and she says, hey, is the manager here? She called him by name. I don't remember his name. They said, no, he's left for the day. She said, well, those are my pies over there, but they're supposed to be over there. And he said, well, ma'am, let me go get you the manager on duty. She was like, cool. Well, while the boy walks off to go get the manager on duty, Vi starts moving her pies. And Nova and them were like, we'll help you. She was like, no, I got it. They were like, no, we got you. Because, Vi, you're going to have to accept help from people. So they start moving the pies. They move the ding dongs and the Twinkies off the display. They move her pies onto the display. And they move her sign and everything. And they're like, okay, we're good. And she sort of walks off. And Hollywood follows her. And she said, it may not seem like a big deal to other people, but it was a big deal to me. That was where, that's where my pies were supposed to be. And she was like, and this is my time. And I remember that line. She said, this is my time. And so the next scene, we see Nova meeting with her editor. And her editor was like, oh, it's so good for you to be here. Don't worry. We just need you to lay low for a little while, but we got you. I believe in you. And she said, well, actually, that's not why I'm here. And she gives him her letter of resignation. And you see the look on his face. It's like, what? Like, he's really in shock that she's quitting. I don't know why he's in shock, but he is. And that's where the episode ends. You see Nova walking out of the office and going down the steps and into her new reality, because they showed her call. I'm sorry, they actually showed her call the people and officially accept the offer. So that's where we are, you guys. Again, we ran a little long, but it was a lot that went on in this episode, and I feel like some stuff I didn't catch last night because of the way the video actually taped. So y'all drop it in the comments and y'all let me know what y'all think.